Hello and welcome to Growing in Business interview series. I'm your host, Fleming Johnson, and today I'm joined by Stacey Mills, who is President and CEO of Welcome Federal Credit Union. Stacey, thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to kick us off with a brief background as to who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. And thank you for having me today, Fleming. It's an honor to be on your show. My background, I am the president and CEO of Welcome Federal Credit Union. I have been a member of this credit union since I was 12 years old. I have grew up with this credit union in my history. My father was an employee of the company that this credit union served as a select employee group. And so he introduced me to the credit union when I was 12 by adding me to his account. Little did I know the day that he set me up on the counter and introduced me to that first, we call them member services rep, that I know that member services rep would soon become my boss many years later. And then never did I ever imagine that after her retirement of her being my boss, I would take over the senior role here at the credit union. So I thoroughly enjoy running the credit union. I thoroughly have a rich history in it. And it is really just something that's really encompassed in my life and in my community that makes me thrive and enjoy doing what I do.
Outstanding. So tell me, how did you actually get started, and at what level did you start at the Federal Credit Union?
So this credit union started out serving only one employer, which was a pharmaceutical company. That company had two locations in North Carolina. One was in Greenville, North Carolina, and one was in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina. Again, my father worked for the company. Through that, I was able to obtain a position there in Greenville, working in the lab. And as I quickly realized, that was just not the career path for me. Being in a pharmaceutical lab was just not what set my heart on fire and really set the drive within me to be all that I could be. So I decided to continue to look on the board and found positions in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, which was a very much larger community. And I was successful. And so I did relocate to the park. I worked in the payroll department for the security team there. Did that for many years, and until I was approached again by that same lady that I had met in Greenville, who was set on the counter. She had been promoted, and she was transferred to Research Triangle Park within the credit union. When I would go down to make my transactions, after a period of many years, she stopped me and inquired with me about a job here at the credit union. Long story short, after a period of time of negotiating with her, I was able to take the job, and that's how all this has evolved. And that's how I've kind of transitioned from location to location and role to role.
Very good. And now, as president and CEO, just kind of review for me what in your rise to that level, what are some of the misconceptions that you've experienced about running a business?
Some of the misconceptions are that all businesses are, you just really have to make sure that the businesses that you're working for and really take a deep dive look into them. And sometimes you have to really believe what they're saying is true. I think we live in a day and time in the world where everybody perceives that each and every business is all about the profit, it's all about the bottom line, and not especially about the customer. Primarily the same reason that I enjoy working for the credit union. Our customers are not even called customers. They're called members because they belong to the credit union. They're a shareholder. So they have a stake in it. So we truly have the utmost important of their financial security and soundness and growth at our heart, because that's our mission. And when they grow and they thrive, we thrive. So as long as you have an open vision and you truly analyze what institutions you're working with are doing in their community and what they are, who they're serving, how they're serving them, and what is their primary focus, I think then you'll really realize in each and every partnership that you develop financially, business wise, whether it's going to be a successful partnership for you.
How do you maintain a work-life balance as a business leader? Do you have any personal rituals or habits that keep you motivated and focused?
That's a great question. When I first started, again, the credit union was really, when I learned what the credit union was about, the purpose, the drive, and the overall goal, we have a mission statement for all credit unions, and that is people helping people. Um, Now, each individual credit union has their own individual mission statement, but the people helping people, when I really learned what that's about, it really sunk in with me. And I really did lose that work-life balance that you're asking me about. I really engulfed myself in work. I would work, in the office, 8.5, 9 hours, and then I'd bring my laptop home and work for another 2 and 3. I didn't see it as a task. I just saw it as something I thrived on. What I didn't really realize, I was losing myself. I was losing a little part of my life that was outside of my work profession. So, right before I took on this role, I quickly had to realize I had to have a cutoff time. Now, yes, the cutoff time does change if there are various, emergency situations and things like that. But I've really tried to set my day to be pretty regimented unless something out of the norm is happening, where I have a start and I have a finish time. So that I do have a life that's outside of the credit union. I have aging parents, and I'm starting to enjoy them today more because I realize they will not always be with me. And so I want to appreciate that balance as you're asking about. And I feel like it's a very important part. The other part about credit unions is the community that you serve. I am partners with a lot of people that we serve as credit unions, and so I do things with them socially. So that part is vital as well. So I find it very important to have a regimented life outside of your career.
Outstanding. In the constantly evolving business landscape, how do you stay adaptable and open to change? I'm sure things have changed somewhat over the course of your time there. What are some strategies that you use to remain innovative?
Things, yes. Oh my goodness. I mean, you're really, things changing so fast today. I used to think, I used to see my parents and how I could help them. Now the role has reversed. My 16-year-old nephew helps me in technology and things that I'm like, you don't know how to do that, Uncle Stacey. And I was like, wow, I just can't believe what these young people can do today. So yes, it's changing very quickly. And just with that said, I use the talent that's around me and the voices that are around me. That's even to include the membership and what they're looking for. We have an annual meeting each year where their voices are heard, what they'd like to see in the credit union. And then my staff, that I would not be where I am today without the staff that I have. Their voices mean the world to me and what they see on the horizon. We have quickly realized here at the credit union to remain a viable financial institution for our members and our community, we have to stay at the forefront of technology, or we will lose that viability. So that's utilizing my staff, down to my nephew. Everything counts. Everything you hear in the outside world. It's just being open and responsive to listening to what's happening around you.
Good. Could you give us a glimpse into your future plans and goals for the business? What do you envision for the next chapter?
For the next chapter, I would like to see the credit union continue to grow. We've been very successful. We pride ourselves on listening to our members and providing a viable financial solution for our members at whatever point they are in their life. That's part of our mission statement. As we all realize, we go through different facets of our life, from your younger years to starting to have a family, to your older years where you'll be more settled. And we're trying to be that financial institution that's with you throughout all points of your life. You mentioned services and having to stay abreast of those. That's in the same lineup, keeping those services in lineup throughout the whole factor of your life, because our goal here at Credit Union is to service your whole life, not for just a part of it. So my goal for the future is to make sure that we keep those lines of communication open, that we will continue to grow and evolve. We're offering more electronic services. We're offering our first fully electronic branch where there will be no one there but an electronic machine, but they will be speaking to a live person. A credit union asset size is that's pretty amazing for that growth pattern, and we're happy about that.
Very good. So tell me, what advice would you offer to aspiring entrepreneurs or business leaders who are starting, say, just starting their journey, or maybe facing some challenges in their businesses?
I go back to what I spoke about when I was younger and when I was earlier in my earlier life. I had a great job in a pharmaceutical research lab. It was a great opportunity. My father, was instrumental in me getting that job. It was devastating for him when he learned that I did not want to stay in that job, but my passion was not there. So my biggest comment to that is make sure that your passion and your heart is there. We only get one life to go through. Yes, and sometimes you can't take the leap. You can't make the change when you want to, but keep it in mind and make sure that you're trying to find a path where you can make that change. You can find that career that really makes you want to get up and go into. It wants you to be a part of the community, and you're very proud of being part of the community. I so much enjoy what I do that it's not a challenge for me to come to work and do what I do. So that would be the biggest thing, is find that passion in what you're doing.
Stacey, thank you so much for your time. It's been great meeting you and learning more about your business leadership journey.
Thank you.
And to everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you on our next episode.